Thank you for tuning in to Grief Intelligence. This is Kyra, and I have just made it to Myrtle Beach with my son. His birthday is tomorrow on Mother's Day, and realized that we have never taken a vacation together in all of this time. One of the things that I didn't understand, but I completely admired about my niece was she took her vacation. She went on her trips. And I'm just learning to enjoy life more fully. And so today's talk is about, people call it self-care, but really just taking care of yourself. When I hear self-care, and I think a lot of people will agree, we think about, those one-time things that we do when we're stressed out to get it off of us, right? You go out to the movies, or you take a bubble bath, that's a favorite, or you talk to somebody you hadn't talked to in a minute, or you scream, or whatever. But really, self-care is a routine thing that you do to take care of yourself, not just after it envelops you. You don't wait until you're stressed out. Self-care is about making sure that you don't get overwhelmed as often as possible, of course, right? So I'm just thinking about what have I been doing to take care of myself and how that's been going. My last recording was really, I just needed to talk. And it was very difficult to process all of these firsts that come up, right? And I went into a shell. I went into myself. And because I was physically exhausted, I did what I normally would do, which would be to stay at home. But that wasn't what was good for me mentally. Emotionally, it just wasn't. I was grappling with depression again. Didn't feel like getting up. Didn't feel like doing usual normal things. I just wanted to cry all the time again. And knowing that's not healthy, it's not helpful, I had to ask myself, what was the thing that led me back here? And it was being in the house. It's easy to feel lazy, or I don't want to. It's easy to do that. But the thing that's healthier for me, I have to fight for it. And so I started looking at myself and my self-care regimen, and it's off. It's been completely off. I never really had it down pat in the first place, so for the slightest thing to be off, it made things more difficult than it had to be. And so here I am, and trying to figure out how to do me differently. I recognize that I do not allow people in my space. I make it very difficult to get to know me because I'm fragile. That's just the truth of it. I'm sensitive and I'm fragile. And the hurt that I've experienced, it's like, well, what do you do to protect yourself? There's a friend of mine that I've known for years. He used to talk about this wall that I have around myself, and he would probably laugh right now and know exactly who he is if he heard me say it. But he always talked about this fortified wall that I have around myself. And for me, I'm as honest as I know how to be about who I am, how I feel, what I'm thinking, all of those things, but it still doesn't allow others to really get to know me. because it's only as much energy as I have at that moment. And then I whisk away to myself again. And so self-care for me as an introvert is alone time or being with my small group, one person or two people or something like that. But mostly it's with myself. And that is what I looked at to take care of myself. But what I'm finding now is that being just by myself all the time, it perpetuates this cycle of depression. And so my way of doing self-care, it has to evolve. While I took a trip some years ago, 3 years ago. It was my very first solo vacation. I took myself to Jamaica for my birthday. And when I tell you, I never felt so rejuvenated, just not having to talk to anybody, not having to compromise on dinner plans or what attractions we would go to, and just doing what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it, with no regard for anything else, cost, distance, or, planning anything else. It just felt good. And I said from then on, I would have my birthday trip by myself. And I probably still will do that, but I don't think I will aim to take all of my trips by myself. Just because I'm realizing how much I do need the people in my life that I care the most about. And my niece, knowing that I wanted to do something with my son to bring in his 21st birthday this year, when we were talking about it, she's like, "Oh, we should do something for the family." And immediately I was like, okay. But how cool would that be? And I think now, hindsight, I wish I had one with her. I wish I had a trip with her. And that opportunity is gone. So, moving forward, I don't want regret when I look back, right? And so much of my strength is wrapped up in the people that I love. So I want those memories. And as much as it felt good not to share, what makes me smile is sharing memories. And so I'm just really talking about evolving with the way I take care of myself and opening up the possibilities of what relief will look like. So I'm gonna drag my daddy and my mama. It might be kicking and screaming, but we're going to have a family trip. And I told my mom that LaToya wanted us to have a family trip. So she's on board. And maybe just because I said that was LaToya's wish. But I think it's going to be amazing. Again, thinking about self-care, figuring out a schedule that works with going to see my great niece and great nephews throughout the week, but also still having some time for me to just recuperate. As much of a transition as it is, I realize just how much I need them. Like my life depends on it. A girlfriend of mine came in town, and I so appreciate her, and she knows who she is. She came in town, and we went to dinner, and she said that she was talking to her son about coming to Atlanta, and she chose here to spend her spring break because she wanted to spend a little time with me too. And we went to dinner, and she told me I almost got my hand slapped reaching for that check. But she said she told her son, I'm going to Atlanta because my friend needs somebody to take care of her, because she always takes care of other people. That's amazing to me, that somebody loves me like that. It's absolutely amazing to me, and I'm grateful. And I realize also with that, that I need to allow other people to love me. The people who see me as so strong that I don't need anybody to lean on, or they can just stand back and, somebody said, I know you're so hard, but I'm praying for you. And I'm thinking to myself, I am not hard at all. That's a shell. That's an exterior, because that's how I've learned to protect myself from the world. The world will eat you alive if you show weakness. And I guess in my mind, I thought, most black women that I know that. You show weakness and the world will eat you up. And we look around and we see these women shouldering everything. They're providers, they're moms, they're sisters, they're cousins, they're friends. They have all of these hats that they wear. And they're the people that get the phone call in most situations, because we handle things, And in my mind, if we know that about each other, how do we also not know that that's because we have to, not because we want to? It's like life has made that a requirement for us, but it's not who we are. It's just what we have to do. But anyway, just back to learning that I need to, for the people that I trust, let them see I'm just as human as you are. There's nothing super about me except the Jesus in me. But it's not me. Not me at all. I don't give myself any other choice. But I have started attending counseling appointments. I have been using an app called Unwinding Anxiety that has been amazing. I changed my schedule because I'm just exhausted at night, and so now, although I used to be a night owl, I have to get my meditations in the morning to make sure that I get them at all. And using the techniques that I'm learning through the daily lessons has been so helpful. Picking up the phone when I need to talk, and sometimes turning off the phone, but scheduling time to do the things that relax me, relieve my mind, make me smile. I shouldn't say I never thought about it. I don't often really think about what I enjoy doing because I'm so busy doing what needs to be done. But now I find that at night, if my mood is low, I know what TV shows to put on that are short, that can make me smile or laugh before I go to sleep, so I'm not in that funk before I fall off to sleep. Taking care of ourselves is more than a bubble bath. It's more than a massage. It is a way of life. I just encourage anyone who is trying to figure out how to take care of yourself, consider if your best friend were you and you were advising them because you care about them. You're advising them on what might be helpful, making suggestions, recommendations. What would you tell them to do? And then take your own advice. Try it. It may not work, but keep trying. Keep trying. You're worth it.